This is lesson 10.4, and we're going to take a look at what an inscribed angle is, as well as an inscribed polygon. Go ahead and take a moment to try the warm-up and check your answers when you're ready. So they gave us that arc LM is 80, and so that means that arc NO is going to be the same since these are perpendicular and going to the center there. We know the arcs are going to be the same. And the radius is 35. So RQ 35, RP 35, RM would also be 35 if we kind of completed that triangle there. We know that LM, the chords are 45, so half would be 22.5 on either side. And so we can kind of answer our questions over here. The measure of, that should be an arc over NQ. So this half here is going to be half of 80. If the whole is 80, this would be 40. And then 45 for NO, because it's the same as this chord over there, which was 45. And then we did half to figure out this would be 22.5 if we cut the 45 in half. And then lastly, to figure out this length here, we use our Pythagorean theorem. So we know that 35 squared is your C. We know this is one of the legs, and so we subtract the 22.5 squared from 35 squared and then do the square root. So today we're going to talk about what an inscribed angle is. We've talked about a central angle before where it is centered, and we know that this angle is going to be the same as this arc. Well, now when it's on the circle and not at the center, we have our vertex again on the circle. It may go through the center, but it is on the circle, that vertex point. Then it has a 2-to-1 ratio, meaning it is half the length of the arc, or measure, the degrees of the arc. If you want to find the arc, then you would double that angle measure to find your arc. So the bigger one is the arc, the smaller one is the angle. So for example here, we want to find this angle X. So we look for the arc, and it's 86, so we're going to take 86, cut it in half, and I know that my angle here is 43 degrees. If I want to figure out what my arc is, and I know the angle inscribed opposite it, then I'm going to double 52 times 2, and I get 104 degrees for this arc. So when it's on the circle, then it's that double half. When it's at the center of the circle, then it is going to be the same. Now, notice on this one, they share the same arc. So this angle has arc AD, and this angle, DCA, has arc DA. So if they share the same arc, then these angles are going to be the same. So looking at this one, it has arc QT, and looking at this angle, it has arc QT. So that would mean that this angle and this angle are the same. So we put 12x minus 13 equal to 9x plus 2, and we solve. We're going to subtract 9x from 12x, add 13. 3x is equal to 15, which means when we divide by 3, x is 5. So if we want to find the measure of angle R, we would plug 5 back in and take 12 times 5 minus 13 and get 47 degrees. If we have an inscribed triangle, then it's going to, and it goes through the diameter through the center and kind of makes a diameter and makes a semicircle, then we know that this is going to be a right triangle. If it forms that semicircle, FH is the diameter. So here we are, AB diameter, so that would mean this angle right here is 90, and so we can go ahead and add up all our angles. 90x plus 4, 8x minus 4, add up all our like terms, and we know that the total of a triangle is 180. So we have 9x plus 90 equals 180. when we combine all of our like terms. And we solve. And get x is 10, and we can plug it back in to take 8 times 10 minus 4, which is 76 degrees for angle B. So go ahead and set up this next one. If we know that AB is our diameter, what would angle C be? Go ahead and set 3x equal to what you know that this angle would have to be, and solve. And hopefully you got 30, because this should be a right angle since it is going through the diameter, forming that semicircle. What if it is a polygon and not a triangle? A polygon, its property just says that if we have that polygon that's inscribed in a circle, then the opposite angles are supplementary. So L and N, those add up to 180, and K and M, those add up to 180. So that would mean that to find angle R, I would take these two angles, a 3x plus 75, and set it equal to 180, and solve, and get 35 for x, which means angle R would have to be 3 times 35, or 105. And angle S, you could also just go ahead and subtract 110 from 180, and that's going to give you angle S is 70 degrees, since we know opposite angles are supplementary.